Hello everyone, welcome to the fresh episode of Fridays with Dhavres. Today's episode is special for me because I would be sharing with you all my experience and learning that I had during and after the process of my first publication. So, the story dates back to somewhere in November 2009 when I entered MLD MHI as MD Psychiatry student. Now, as we all know, research and statistics aren't really a part of formal undergraduate education. So like any other student of homeopathy, I too had a negligible amount of sensitization about importance of research work and scientific writing and almost zero knowledge of research and statistics when it came to its concepts. So initially, a subject of research itself was difficult and overwhelming for me, but as the days passed and as the lectures of research methodology went ahead, synopsis work went ahead, those same overwhelming concepts became intriguing enough that I decided to pursue it beyond our dissertation work. That's why in 2012, when I got an opportunity to become a junior research fellow at the research department at MLD MHI, I was already excited. And then the real story starts from taking up my first research project to its publication in July 2013. As a junior research fellow, the research project that I took up was understanding efficacy of homeopathy in alcohol withdrawal syndrome. We decided to go ahead with a retrospective case series method because by then we already had enough number of cases where we had seen that there is some role that homeopathy has to play. So, while I started with my research project, I started to realize that there were definitely some strengths, weaknesses, challenges, and opportunities that I was facing. To name few important ones, strength was obviously that I had some familiarity now with the research concept, so it was not that overwhelming to take up the other project. But at the same time, the weaknesses that I was battling were still related to the knowledge of Excel sheet, documenting the data in the Excel sheet using various functions, and of course, the knowledge of statistical concepts for me was very, very raw. With those weaknesses, as I started my work, during that work, there were some challenges that also came across. There were many cases which were treated with alcohol homeopathy of alcohol withdrawal syndrome, but only 60 cases were the ones which I could actually consider, and when I critically analyzed those 60 cases, I found out that only 25 cases had enough documented data for me to subject it to research work. That's why connecting dots was starting to get difficult. I was not very clear about the endpoints of the research as to how much I'm supposed to analyze and where it should stop. And with all of these weaknesses and challenges, yes, there was a slowly building urge to shut down the project, or maybe just say that it's not doable. But thanks to our teachers and supervisors in research department and psychiatry department, they made me to realize that it is not about the perfect final outcome always, because it's a research. During the process, we are already able to see that there is a scope for better documentation, there is a scope for developing better assessment parameters when it comes to managing such cases, and that's why this work has already started to help in a way where we could actually make some changes in the way the protocols for management of alcohol withdrawal are being set. So it was already something which was happening positive. And that's why I was able to refocus on my thesis without like really getting frustrated. And as an outcome, the analysis of 25 cases was completed. So in a way, research project was completed. So my state was that I have won a race. But as we all know, and as our teachers at MLD MHI also keep on saying, that any research work cannot be complete in real sense unless and until it is published, unless and until the findings are communicated to the world. Now, for this, I already had my psychological blocks. to name a few important ones, I would say that at first, when it was told that we need to now go ahead with the publishing, the first thought that came to my mind was, I have only 25 cases. Like, we know that even our dissertation needs a minimum sample size of 30. So in that scenario, is my work even significant enough? Plus, since it was a retrospective case series method, definitely we were not in position to utilize some validated scales or to measure the outcomes. So analytical statistics was something which was not getting indicated over there. We couldn't really use some statistical methods to furthermore find out the significance of the findings. With all this, I definitely felt that my work might just not matter. I mean, it is enough that we have realized some important things and we could apply it at Palghar RHH and improve our work, and then maybe somebody else might do a better research. So I then also started to feel that isn't it enough already, because per se a research project itself demands a lot of dedication. It takes time, it takes a different skill sets that I already had worked hard to achieve. So now scientific writing, which I knew needed another kind of skill sets, it would be too much for me, and possibly that's why I thought or even started to believe that scientific writing might not be my cup of tea. Now, again, thanks to our teachers and faculty at research department and psychiatry department, they made me to reflect a bit. And while I reflected, I found out some things. Any scientific writing, yes, it demands a lot of precision, clarity, it demands equal amount of time and patience, but that is what is going to discipline my mind. And in that case, it is going to be a good mental gym for myself, which should evolve me as a better doctor, as a better researcher, and as a better homeopath. Plus, I need to do this, whatever I have found out in terms of some knowledge or some findings, they must be communicated to the world so that they might somewhere help in the larger interest of patient, and they might help the body of knowledge grow. And most importantly, I realized one thing that I shouldn't do as a researcher that I was already doing. What Arthur Conan Doyle has already said, that it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have the data. And I had already started to theorize about why I should not be writing a paper, and probably even started to believe on those theories without having any evidence. So that was a capital mistake that I needed to avoid as a researcher. And that's why I did go ahead with writing the paper. And thanks that I went ahead with this, thanks to the mentors, because writing the paper itself was a different kind of learning, a different kind of experience. Learning and experience of writing, I can put it under two aspects. One was actually writing the paper per se, which I would quickly share what I learned over here. So what I learned was definitely that writing is not, scientific writing to be precise, is not something that I just take a pen, paper, I sit and I start to write. No, it's not that. Just like our last Fridays with Dhavle's episode, Sir said about the same. So while I write, even before I write, I have to undertake some preparation. And that preparation was in terms of identifying the target audience to where I want to communicate what I have got to know from my research. And second was to do an extensive review of literature so that I can identify that where does my work stand, what it can contribute. I can identify the research gap and establish some relevance of my study. Once that is done, then I started to actually write down the paper. So first part is the introduction. Now introduction is something which I learned that it should be very clear in terms of it should provide background information, it should give the wider implications of the work that has been done. It should be able to explicitly state the knowledge gap that we have already identified while we did the review of literature in preparatory phase, and The hypothesis should be stated in a very clear, logical, and a systematic manner. Once that is done, you start with a review of literature, and review of literature at that time for me did not turn out to be a difficulty, because already extensive review was done. All I had to do is filter out the review in such a way that it suits the topic and it gets logically connected with the introduction. After that, materials and methods is usually a straightforward area, because if you have already taken up a genuine research work and followed a systematic research methodology, then it is not very difficult to write this part. Major challenge starts when you have to start writing the results, discussion, and conclusion. Why? Because I realized that as a human being, you can always get tempted to write the results in such a way that they are looking exaggerated or they are getting glorified. It could be a subconscious thing that might happen. But that's why we have to be extremely objective and honest while we write the results, communicate what we have got without coloring it with our own perceptions and our own egos and other things. Once it is objectively and honestly written, you should be able to lay the foundation for discussion while you write the results, and the results should be represented accurately by correct use of bar diagrams or charts or even the sentences that you use. Once that is done, discussion is where we can speculate a little based on our results, but again, we cannot be haywire and we cannot just speculate out of no evidence, so we have to be concrete. So again, it's a balancing act. And finally, the conclusion, which should be holistic. It should be able to completely summarize what your study gave to you and what it was able to achieve, and it should be clear, precise again. Lastly, recommendations is also a very crucial part, because here you have to again go through the entire project work, identify what has been done in this project, what you couldn't do, why you couldn't do, and that's why to make this kind of study better, what else could be done, what are other parameters that could be studied. Okay, for example, in our research, it was a retrospective case series method. So it had its own shortcomings, it had its own lacunae. So one can take up the findings from this and definitely go ahead and take up a prospective method where they can use some validated scales and subject the data to proper statistical tests and find out the significance. So this is something how your recommendations should come. So again, you have to be very objective and honest over here and write those recommendations. Now, all this would happen and it was not a single attempt. Every part I had to write, visual scan it, reflect back on it, send it to my teachers, get inputs from them, and do the fine tuning. Okay, remember, because if I'm communicating but what am I communicating is not clear and precise, then the purpose of communication itself is lost. So that continuous fine tuning, repeated visual scanning of the document that I'm preparing, avoiding repetition of words, using precise and exact words that convey what I want to say is very, very crucial. So all this is a very continuous and a dynamic process which involves a lot of reflection and which involves a lot of patience. But once that is done, finally in 2013, when my article got published in Homeopathic Heritage, all that hard work that was put, all that frustration that I underwent and overcame it, all of that just made sense, because the feeling of looking at my article totally gave me a lot of happiness, pride, a sense of satisfaction that I could do something productive, and definitely a sense that, okay, what I started, I finished it. I felt like I won a race totally. But that was not it. The real insight or realization was yet to come, and that happened somewhere in 2018. In 2018, I accidentally landed upon this study done by another group of researchers, which was published in IJRH. And that study was again about managing acute alcohol withdrawal with homeopathy. Of course, it triggered my curiosity and I started to read the article. And while I started to read the article, I realized that they have referred our work, they have cited our work, and they have also mentioned that all these works which showed some significance of homeopathy in managing alcohol withdrawal, yes, they had some lacunae, but that is what they try to do in their own study, that they try to overcome the shortcomings of what we were not able to do. And that just made lot of sense. Okay, if I may put it across, I would say that my learning after actually what happened in 2013 and what I saw in 2018, I can put it in this way. First and foremost, when I saw my citation, I realized that publishing is not just about doing something for your own self or for your own satisfaction, but it has much more meaning to it. It is not about winning an individual race, but it is like a relay. The work that you publish is going to be like a baton for somebody else to take it forward and forge ahead and continue the progress in that field. Then, a genuine research or a scientific work which is done with 100% honesty always matters, with or without statistics. Yes, statistics is important. It gives a lot of credibility to your data, but absence of it doesn't take away the importance of the truth that you have discovered. Right? So you would want to go ahead and publish if you have found out some grain of wisdom, some truth, or landed up in knowing something significant. See, you don't write because you want to say something, but because you have to say something, as said by Scott Fitzgerald. It just makes sense when it comes to scientific writing too. In research, there are two outcomes. If your result is confirming the hypothesis, then you have made a measurement. But if your result is contrary to the hypothesis, then you have made a discovery. In any of the scenarios, you do have something to say. You do have discovered something. So might as well you communicate it to the world so that people learn, the knowledge grows, the science grows. Finally, communicating your scientific work, taking up that process in itself, where you have to be very concise, clear, creative, is going to discipline your own mind, which will help you to grow as a researcher, as a doctor, as a homeopath, and all of that you do while you write a paper and publish it, it is going to help your science grow eventually, just as we could see that how the work was taken forward and we got to know more on how homeopathy is effective in alcohol withdrawal. Now, once the science grows, automatically it is going to come back to you and help you survive and grow further. And that's why the statement publish or perish just holds so true. Okay, let's take a message from this, that let us do some genuine scientific work in homeopathy, because we really need to do that if we want to end the paradox that exists, that homeopathy is not a well-rounded science, but still there are it is yet the most famous or most used system of medicine. So if we want to end this paradox, yes, let's do some genuine work. If we have not done it yet, and if we have already done some, let's take a pledge to publish. By this, I conclude my talk, and I am very, very grateful to the Department of Research, to the Department of Psychiatry who helped me back then and who also gave me opportunity today to communicate my experience to all of you. And thank you all for your patient listening. Signing off, Dr. Ananya Chitare.